it feels so good saying that. Awesome. Thanks, man.
Cheers, dude.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Phil here with podcast 205. And of course, today's guest is Darren, aka Mama Bear, aka the Senior Marketing and Community Manager at Piranha Games. Welcome back, sir.
Good to be back. Feels like it was just a few days ago.
I mean, it's almost like we've done this a few times, you know?
Yeah. So, what did you say? 205.
205.
Right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
What are you drinking over there?
I got some more coffee. It's I have this last week, man. I've drank more coffee than I have in the last month.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
I like your shirt there. Yeah.
You know, this is one of my favorite shirts from all the shirts we've collected over the years, specifically just for comfort. I love the feel of this shirt. Yeah. It is so soft.
They did a really good job with the contrasting colors too.
What is the one you're wearing?
Oh, yeah, you guys.
Oh,
see, this is a NGNG one. It's the
nice.
I did this. Yeah,
I like that.
It's simple. Yeah, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah, man,
good stuff.
Nice swag there. Anyways, welcome back, dude. So podcast 204. It's to
getting
say
a few views.
It's gotten a few listens and views. And to say it hasn't created a a wave of discussion, I think is an understatement. It's been good. I mean, the reaction, I think, is hey, about time, like, awesome, like, let's freaking do this. I've been invited to a Discord channel that there's people already organizing, getting information to. I know what you already know. I'm not gonna. They can talk.
Do their thing.
Yeah, they can do their thing. Yeah. The discussions going on. You've got players of all just backgrounds and skills, like, coming together. And of course, during the streams, the next day, I think for the first hour, I was just basically like, all right, let's do a recap. Here are my thoughts. Like, it was a lot of information.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, so you were talking about that one Discord channel that was formed. So across the board, I'm getting lots of contact from just individual players, which obviously MWO that's a big portion of their community, is just people that play by themselves, drop in casually or whatever. Getting a lot of people contacting me, solo players. But what's really cool is units. And what's happening is, so just like that Discord channel was formed essentially as a reaction to this announcement, units are kind of I won't say coming back together. They've been together, but they're having these conversations as a unit and sending me their thoughts as a unit, which is really cool. Had quite a few of those happening. There's discussion all over the place. That's probably been the most challenging thing so far this week. It's Discord, people sending me private messages, Discord groups, it's Twitter, it's email, it's the forum, it's Reddit, it's YouTube video comments. Or sitting in your chat, just sitting in your streams. There's so much feedback, and that's the super challenging part so far this week, is trying to just kind of wrap my head around all that and organize it. But I'm seeing some trends. I don't know if have you been seeing trends as far as what people are interested in and what they're talking about?
Yeah, and of course, before I dive into that, I just want to say I'm glad it's you and it's not me. Like,
I know,
so
right?
much information. I was like, man, they are, they're asking for it. But
we're at almost 300 comments on the original thread.
Yeah.
60 comments on the podcast thread. Then how many comments do you have on your YouTube?
Oh, it was over 200. So it's probably 300. Then Reddit, then Twitter. Twitter today.
It is.
I just in my
conversations are hilarious.
I went live and I was like, hey, what's one thing that you do to improve MWO? And I didn't even think anybody would respond because it's a going live thing. Oh no. Yeah. Oh no. It's like some things
people are ready to talk. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what's going to be tough is that you have so many different thoughts, opinions, but they all have different focuses. They all have different perspectives. They all have different backgrounds. Very much like a real life, right? I mean,
Yep.
whether you're talking about politics or social stuff, or both, we all are coming from a different perspective. I have seen some trends. Obviously in the streams, I brought up the point of, um, the marketing model, and I'm actually going to be sitting down with someone tomorrow and talking about that. Tori, who I work with Mechwarrior Mercenaries, and we're going to talk about stuff like that. But
Hmm.
the marketing model, what they could do to improve, and one of the things I quickly saw was there's a lot of feedback about the price of mech packs because and the lack of value
Hmm.
that you get. Skill tree
Yeah.
was a big thing, and that tied in with the new player experience,
Yep.
which I think was the new player experience got brought up a bit. And then a lot of it came down to just decisions like faction warfare. And it's funny because a lot of people were basically saying like, there's still a big pool of people that want faction play. Solaris was one of those where like there are people that enjoy that, but
Sure. I've seen a lot of people wanting to take Solaris and create something more with it, like either 4v4 Solaris or free for all, which we've had those discussions in the
yeah,
past, and potentially the difficulties, especially of a free for all. But
yeah,
again, nothing's off the table.
yeah,
And also I want to just reiterate, I'm having to say this a lot, but it's important. When I express my thoughts on things, those thoughts are my own. The direction of where we're taking this isn't based on my thoughts or my own feelings or anything like
it's
that.
on the internet, Darren.
It's the internet, man. No, it's the fans, and that's really
Yeah,
that's going to be the challenge. Is like you were just pointing out, getting a consensus, which has
yeah,
always been a challenge in Mechwarrior and BattleTech,
yeah,
because there are so many passionate fans who, like we were saying, yes, obviously Solaris isn't necessarily the most talked about thing that people would like to see happen or whatever, or improvements, but
yeah.
there's some people that just absolutely freaking
Sure.
love Solaris, and I
But
understand that,
yeah,
but and I understand that people come from different perspective, see through their prism of what they do, what they like. And there's no reason why somebody can't love Solaris. But the challenge will be obviously finding what the majority of people want, what's going to benefit the majority of people, and then what can fit into a business plan.
sure. And then on top of that too, I think is looking to I use the Bob Ross. It's like big
Yeah,
sweeping things. What are the big sweeping things? Well, you
yeah,
hear about new player experience was a big thing. Group play, solo play, balance. Of course, that discussion you can go down the rabbit hole. You've had talks about faction warfare. Those are big swap because you're not diving in necessarily to the weeds because you
yeah.
can. And so it'll be interesting seeing how you guys manage that. Like, that's the
It will
challenge,
be.
right? Yeah, like, but it's cool because so many people are willing to, I think, help and pitch stuff. And I said this before. I think out there, if you can solve if whether you guys come up with your own ideas because you're pulling this or that, um, if there's a solution for the monetization model, which I've heard a lot of good stuff so far, and it really wasn't radical. It was like you could pretty much keep what you sort of have there and just sort of add, stuff. I think it sort of solves everything else because everything else is time and time, which is money and resources and people. And if
Mhm.
you can solve those things, then I think Russ, of course, he's going to be like, yeah, fucking, go for it, right? So, but yeah, I've seen a few recurrent things. Um,
Dude, the amount of time that players and little pockets of community put into researching and thinking about these topics is uh, super motivating to me and blows my mind.
yeah,
Like I've already gotten, so obviously extensive documents from the community is not a new thing. There's been over the years, there's been plenty of
sure,
community driven initiatives where they present,
yeah,
huge documents of suggestions and ideas. But again, here we are, however many years into this game's life, and I'm finally finding the same enthusiasm and motivation.
yeah,
The documents I've got already up here 5 tabs of huge documents, people proposing everything from monetization ideas to extensive dreams about the games
Yeah.
and what they'd like to see happen. It's incredible. The
Yeah.
the the amount of time that these passionate, devoted Mechwarrior fans put into it is pretty incredible, and I totally appreciate it. It helps motivate me and keep me going because I know that out there's a lot of people that want to see good things happen.
Oh, of course. And
It's cool.
from my point of view, one thing I'm trying to do is not like I've got my opinions.
Hmm.
I do. I mean, someone was asking me today, and I was talking about those. But I
Well, one
also,
of them is like faction warfare, right? You admit that's not a big thing for
it's
you.
not a big, I've always wanted it to be. I've
Yeah.
always wanted to participate. I've always wanted it to be this thing. But Russ sort of summed it up. I mean, when he said it, he was like, it was too grand. It was too, it, it was already, the ship sailed out and it was already leaking,
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what he's saying. And so for me, though, I look at it as I would love to participate, but I also look at what the like reality of things are. And that's why like I try to challenge people of like what's the number one priority to me in MWO? My number one priority in MWO, if I'm looking at it and if I'm honest, is fun. If it's fun, I
I
don't
thought you were going to say rescale,
n-
but no,
well,
that's good. That's yeah. So
well,
that
there's
plays into it,
reasons.
right? Yeah.
It's reasons because I
Yeah.
was having this conversation in Discord, and one of the things was I brought up rescale, but I said it really depends on PGI because if it's an algorithmic script thing, which I think it is, that's what they did in the past. You weren't a part of that, and neither was
Right.
I at the time, but I think they used a script. Well, if they can do that again, awesome. If it's easy, it doesn't mess with animations, textures, material, all that stuff. It doesn't mess with anything, and we could probably quickly tackle that. But in doing so, if it isn't as easy, then what's the alternative? The alternative is what we already have, which is the quirk system, and it's to really do a deep dive on that. But from a mech balance standpoint, yeah, like I said, what's fun? To me, it's what is fun about faction warfare? What is fun about Solaris? And Matt mentioned this event queue or something like that, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
you turn it on, and for that weekend or week, that whole thing is dedicated towards a faction play, clan versus IS. You sign up at the beginning maybe of the week, or hey, it's Solaris and it's free for all, or this day is 4v4 or something like that. And then for the rest of the time, it's not on. Or maybe it is because the population comes back and everybody loves it. But I guess for me, it's what is fun. And like I've heard everyone and their mother who plays faction play say one of the funnest features is the respawns. Basically, that's what they are, which is funny. Because I heard, no, you can't do respawns. It's against lore. You're bringing in another mech. You died. It is a respawn, right? So if that's a good mechanic that everybody's enjoying across the board, why not have that discussion? Should that be in instant, like, and that's the thing is like that's what I'm saying is like, can you incorporate that in quick play some way? Yeah, 15-minute matches, but like, what would that do? Why not experiment? Why not have that thought process? If everything's on the table, question everything. But my question is it fun? What is the fun part? Because balance sways, goes, like it ebbs and flows depending. And I mean, rescale itself would be one of the biggest things ever. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot for you guys to decide on.
Yeah, I 100% agree that fun should be the motivation of all of this, right? I mean, otherwise, what are we doing? Creating a history project, a science project. This is a video game. So now, that being said, that's an easy statement, right? Everybody's definition of fun.
Fun, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, what I appreciate is that, or what I feel lucky to be able to do is almost, I'd say 99.9% of the time, I can relate with what a person is saying. The fun that they can experience in Solaris, faction warfare, solo dropping, group queue, comp queue, all that stuff. I can understand where that, where why they can have fun with that and not
Sure.
something else, another element. And so, just a million ideas out there, so many different ways that this can go. And it's like I said before, it's the most important thing is going to be us finding a way to make these three different ingredients work into something really good, which is what the community wants, a consensus of that, what will make the game better, and how we can essentially make that work as far as the business goes.
So you mentioned a few things during my stream earlier. You popped on earlier this week and you said there's a few short-term things. Do you remember those off the top of your head? Short-term, it was like, let me see if I could find it, so I don't put
things
you on
that
the
are
spot here.
already happening, or
Well, you said like some, I don't know if it was low hanging fruit. Let me see. I think it was posted. It was like, it might have had to do new player experience. Let me see.
oh,
Here.
that was just, I know what you're talking about.
It was just
I
something
wasn't
simple. Yeah. Oh, okay. You said increase goodwill, which is
Yeah.
communication, right? Yeah.
Now,
Which you're already doing.
this wasn't me making an announcement of what's
Yes.
happening. It was me stating what I believe is one path that we can take
Yes.
that I think would help. But yeah,
Right.
go ahead.
Yeah, and then you said, of course, the new player experience, it needs to be improved. How that, of course, is still quality of life improvements, refining, of course, monetization. And then you said, from there, bigger picture stuff will, in 2 years, 3, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, basically what I was getting across is that I feel like multiple things in the beginning here, multiple things have to happen at the same time. And it's, there's a because of history, we have to we want to make sure we go about this the right way. We don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. And I feel like there's a certain amount of goodwill that we need to earn.
Sure.
And so, like, what I was thinking is first, not first, but one thing we want to do is revamp the monetization that we currently have, not recreate the wheel or anything right now, reinvent the wheel. And again, this is just thoughts.
Off the top of your head, yeah.
All that stuff is still coalescing, and within a week, things may be different or whatever. But basically refine the outdated monetization system as much as we can within the current system, right? So that when we start getting potentially, hopefully, more traffic, more interest, more sales, it benefits the player more, the stuff that they're getting for the money that they're spending, and it benefits, obviously, the company with more player spending. But I think in order to make that a reality, obviously, two things that I think right off the bat that we could do to help create that enthusiasm or desire to do that would be low-hanging fruit, quality of life type stuff. Things that will, for people that have been playing this for 3, 5, 8 years, and doing the same drops over and over and over again, obviously still enjoying it, but things that we'll notice, like like I was telling you before, new maps are great, new mechs are great, but really it's those things where you get into a match and you're like, yeah, that changed things for the better, whether it's redesigning the map or a myriad of other quality of life type things. I think that's creating goodwill and lets the players know that we're serious. I also think improving the new player experience, whether that's giving new players more when they start the game so that they can be more effective and kind of experiment a little bit more with mechs and without having to play 100 matches before they can become viable or whatever. And it could be tutorial stuff. It could be anything. Just improving the new player experience. I think that is super important, right? Because people bring their friends into the game or people discover the game. We don't want to drive them away. That's the opposite of what we want to be doing right now. We want as many people coming to the game as possible. So I think that those are two areas where we can make some potentially simple improvements and changes that will get the ball rolling. But now this is different from our bigger goals and our bigger, broader ideas, which is what hopefully, next week, the week after, we'll start to work with the community more to start really figuring out what the big stuff is that we want to do and can do. That's really all up in the air at this point, obviously, right? Because everything's on the table, from small quality of life decisions to porting to Unreal 4 or whatever. Everything's out there. So let's start talking about these things and decide what's really going to be the best for the entire community, for the game, and for the future, and hopefully being able to play Mechwarrior online for the next 4 or 5 years.
So all that being,
that's kind of what I was.
All that being said, obviously you said people are contacting you everywhere. There is a forum post. I will have this in the description down below that you can post directly to. Darren's keeping up on it. I think obviously Matt is as well. That you can go post these ideas. And you dropped your information also on Twitter. So you guys all have his Twitter down below as well.
Yep.
So you can contact him. And obviously, if you keep it to the forums, that makes it a little bit cleaner so he doesn't have to go left and right. But it is what it is. We got plenty of like opportunities for that. And, like,
sure,
and I feel like that's already a step in the right direction. I mean, we've been involved in this community forever and communication, right? It's like, keeping that, and we dealt with this even with the podcast, is like, when you commit to something, it's a little bit of a chore, a little bit of a work of keeping that schedule. But if you're doing it, again, people really appreciate it. And, you have enthusiasm about all of this, and the community has enthusiasm. So I don't think it'll feel like that. But with that as well, like, I think people need to understand, right, how I look at it on the outside is you guys are in collection mode, which is you're collecting a bunch of data, right? And you're going to have to parse that data. Some things out there, and this is where I saw a comment that I thought was pretty on point, like of saying like, hey, this doesn't align with what we're going, or this won't work right now, but we're going to put it. And that's where I feel like that's the difficult decision you guys are going to have to make, is like, what if someone actually has a cool idea, but that actually may have to go to over here and be put. And that's prioritization. I think a lot of people don't realize that is like, in any company you have that. It's like game development in general. Like you see it with everything from just, I mean, we've experienced it in this game, HBS, where a lot of the stuff that got pulled out and then got put into DLC was prioritization. Something else had to happen first and so forth. So, I think
if we can make the right decisions, make the right choices, and make some stuff happen here, then it's not like there's just one more big update in the future. There can be multiple updates, So yeah, absolutely. And
I think that's where people are optimistic, right? Like, we were talking about in Twitch chats, we were talking about today in particular. Someone asked me skill tree, and someone commented if they would have just asked the community or shown this, they would have literally had hundreds of thousands of people saying we don't want this, and saying like, well, why don't you do X, Y, and Z instead? Or and that's not to crap over whoever did it. It's to say your players will know what they want, and the players will know what they don't want. And again, that's why I was
obviously we can't live in the shoulda, woulda, coulda, and I appreciate what's being said there. I understand the sentiment of what they're getting at, but I'm here. I was hired for, a week ago and into the next 5 years. And so to those people that, the few detractors that have come out, that's fine, man. I totally understand whatever their feelings are. That's totally fine. But I am here for the people that love MWO and Mechwarrior 5, but right now specifically MWO, who want to see it continue, who want to see improvements. That's why I'm here. And a huge part of that, what you brought up earlier, is communication. And I'm going to be sure to be communicating, as consistently as possible. I think that's absolutely essential, so that we're not sitting on our asses doing nothing, that every single week we're putting more work into what we're talking about here. We're putting our money where our mouth is. And so I think that communication is absolutely vital, and that will continue for sure. Which is, that's why I'm here. This is more of that communication, just letting you know. I mean, this week for me was getting set up, just all the logistics of getting set up at a new company. And we have this RazerCon stuff come up, which I'll get to in a few minutes, that I had to focus on a little bit. But and then at the same time also getting inundated with awesome suggestions
from people like
and
me.
Information. Yeah,
I was like, hey, like. And
but this is the job, man. So it's totally fine.
Yeah,
like I welcome it.
And like, I think ideally stuff like this, I ask you guys out there, do you like this kind of format with Darren, with Matt, with Russ? And me personally, of course, I want to see this continue, and I don't foresee it not happening. Obviously Darren can't commit to like, oh, I'm gonna do this all the time, but that being said,
maybe.
Yeah, well, like we'll ease into it, if you will, and sort of see like how much because 15 minutes here, 30 minutes there, it means the world, I think, to a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of people because
and that's super easy, right?
yeah, because I mean, for years, you just silence, just like not the
Well,
past 2 years.
that's changing now.
Yes,
That's
I'm saying
changing now.
like when something comes out, like, hey, let's get your thoughts. Like, are you happy with it? Are you not happy? You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And just having that with devs because of how connected we are, I think puts a lot of people at ease. And then when it comes to ease, is like we're coming back and you guys are asking, hey, spend money on the game. Like, so it's the least you guys can do is communicate.
absolutely,
Right? So
100%
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Um, you know, again, like Russ said, he didn't hire me just because I'm a nice guy. He hired me to come in
I mean
and
that's
make
part of
changes
it.
to this.
Like,
Maybe it's what
and the
got me in the
beard.
door, but
Yeah,
yeah, but it's really about coming in and making these effective changes to Mechwarrior Online so that we can continue playing this game that we love.
yeah.
Um, and I've been playing the last few days and jumping in with people, with streamers, and having a great time. It's amazing, I mean, if you really think about the fact that we're still playing this many years later and we still want to continue playing it. Like I said in the last podcast, there's very few games that I've played for this long. Very
Yeah,
few.
literally.
In
Yeah,
fact, only a couple.
yeah.
And so yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled to be in this position. It is extremely overwhelming, especially this first week and this first bit. But not in a bad way. It's overwhelming in a good way because it just means there's that many people out there that are still into what we're doing and want to see something happen. So I'm excited about that.
So yeah, I
All of
guess
this.
out there, that's the challenge. If you're listening to this, I'm challenging you, the community, come up with some cool shit.
Submit your
Like
ideas because
yeah, go
if
ahead.
you don't submit your ideas out there, I'm talking to you guys in the audience. If you don't submit your ideas, other people are. Trust me. There's so much feedback coming in right now. So if you want your ideas heard, if you're with part of a unit or a group or whatever, coalesce bring it all together and send it as a unit or whatever. However you want to get information to me, do it because this is the opportunity.
Pictures, lots of pictures, no PowerPoints. No one likes no, but I'm legitimate. Like where if someone can, like a wall of text is one thing, but like if you could say, hey, this is what we're thinking, and you can utilize the in-game images and move things around. If you can showcase that, and like I said, I think monetization at heart, and this is me from looking on the outside, is like the key to this, because if you can make that work, I think everything else falls in place. Because Russ is like, yeah, that sounds good.
We're seeing more players, which
Yeah,
translates into more sales, and yeah, absolutely. I will say, if you want to send in feedback, it's fine to just say make faction warfare better, which I've got plenty of those, or just one single sentence about one single part of the game or whatever that they want to see improve. And then to the extreme, I've gotten pages and pages of people detailing how to make faction warfare or whatever better. So anything from that, one end of the spectrum to the other is fine. If it's just make faction warfare better, that gets cataloged into the system, and we know that there's more people that want that, etc. So please send the feedback, and I'll be looking forward to reading it all.
okay, so podcast 204, we got December 10th launch on Steam with the DLC, which is
Yeah,
pretty big news. I wasn't
it's
expecting
launching
that.
on Steam. It's launching on GOG and the DLC as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
and with
and Epic for those that already have it there. And I'm assuming Game Pass too. I'd assume probably.
I'm not going to
Microsoft.
say either way.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would assume so. Um,
Yeah.
so that was really cool. I behind the scenes, like I said, from a modder, I'm super excited for that. I think it's going to add depth, and it's surprising how many people actually, since the podcast, have been hopping back into channel and said, "Hey, I've been playing. I haven't played MW in like 3 years, and like it's good to see names I haven't seen in a while back. And
Mm-hmm.
that's always really cool. But you guys mentioned RazerCon. What
Yeah.
is going on? What is this?
RazerCon? It's a big convention where people sell, shaving razors.
Oh,
No, wait, no, that's another one.
another one.
RazerCon. So basically, what that is, this is happening tomorrow. That's October 10th. It's RazerCon 2020. It's a virtual convention
Okay.
that they're doing. They're calling it a day of digital celebration for gamers by gamers. So basically, it's Razer showing off their new tech. and gear, showing product launches, their new stuff coming out. And there will be a lot of prizes. You can see all everything that's going on at their website at razer.com/RazerCon. And one of the things that they'll be showing tomorrow will be giving you some more information on the upcoming MechWarrior 5, or I'm sorry, MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries DLC that's coming out. So you'll be able to get some exclusive info on that. Basically, you can get more details on this at mwomercs.com or MechWarrior 5 Mercs, mw5mercs.com. The info was just posted, I don't know, about a half an hour ago. So you can head on over there, check it out. There'll be prizes and a lot of fun stuff. It's basically all day tomorrow. So I'll be hanging out probably in their Twitch channel. They're streaming it on like Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, everything.
Gotcha. Are they going to be playing Mech 5, the DLC, or are they going to just be showing something off? Can you say?
I can't really say. No, I can't say. But there will be. But they love Mechwarrior. Well, it's only because I don't want to get fired.
NDAs, bro. You know what those are.
Yeah, but they love Mechwarrior. They love Piranha. So we love working with Razer.
Nice. So we expect you to be wearing a Razer headset the next time we see you.
You know, I would love to get Razer gear. I think there's a line though, and I'm not necessarily at the front of that line.
Well, you're on camera all the time. We need a better camera. We need a better mic. So we'll work on that. Hey, Russ, he needs a new mic.
We'll see.
All right.
We're trying to get Matt set up too.
Both of you.
I know. Yeah.
Look,
we would love Razer gear. We love Razer gear. We want more.
I have some links that you can use. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Russ, I'm gonna send you. All right, we're gonna hook him up. So that way we get more sexy bearded voice. It's good. It's good to see you again, man. Like I said, like
it's good to be back.
You know, like it was weird. You know, it was weird. You know, and then it was out of our control. I mean, really, that's the reality. And now I don't have to worry about you. I was a little worried about you. I mean, you're sailing around in a boat.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, the funny thing is that my boat all of a sudden needed a lot of work. Like,
isn't that funny?
A lot.
Isn't that what they say? It's like,
yes, it's a big black hole in the water that you throw money into. But so you know, the last few weeks, my boat's just been sitting at anchor, and I've been working on her. But we're getting close to finishing the projects that exist now.
Yeah.
And then hopefully I'll be taking some winter trips to camp around the area or whatever. It's difficult when the weather starts getting. I'm just looking out. It's kind of windy today. When it starts getting stormy, those aren't the trips you want to take mostly, because then that creates the swells,
white caps,
people getting be seasick and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's windows of opportunity throughout the winter to go camping, and hopefully we'll get to do that. But
gotcha.
I was getting a little antsy basically by the end of the summer and coming into fall, and I was ready to work. I had no idea what that was going to be. I thought it was going to be my Discover PNW website and doing that kind of stuff. It's just a creative outlet, but it really turned into this. So I'm very happy to be back and doing this again. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to see your face.
The community's been awesome. As far as welcoming me back, and it does feel like home.
Yeah.
We did this for so long.
Yeah. Well, it's going to continue because obviously,
we're going to make this happen. That's the bottom. I've been talking to Matt about it a lot. Like, we talk about the pressure of this endeavor, and it's huge. Like, I feel like this is almost something that if I can make this happen, I can rest in peace. Like, I've actually contributed something to this. Right? Someday.
You're too old to say
all
shit
of
like
us.
that, all right?
But I mean, it's like it'll be a benchmark for my career that I was able to, with obviously with all of your guys' help, make something happen that was significant. And so I'm super excited about it.
And that's where I said it to you. I was like, I'm very optimistic because, I know you. I mean, being a player and the hours upon literally thousands of hours you've listened to me bitch and complain about this or that, or even be behind the scenes, or like, hey, I really wish I would have done this. I think that's been and will be one of your strengths, is actually being a player, listening to community feedback. And really what Russ was saying is we want your ideas. And so it's the same thing with like PSR when they came up with the general consensus at the end, like, hey, if you just do this, same thing. If we can tackle stuff like whether it's rescale, whether it's faction warfare, whether it's skill tree, if you can get community buy-in, which is what you're shooting for, there's no reason for people not to come back, because they're going to be getting exactly what they, like asked for, give or take, depending.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think my two strongest qualifications for sure are that I've been a Battletech Mechwarrior fan for 35 years, and I'm a good listener. I'm going to listen to everything everybody says and take it to heart. And I absolutely adore this franchise, obviously, and so I want what's best for the game and what's best for the community. So, yep, that's
all
my
right.
pitch.
Well, we're gonna have you back on. This is nice and short, sort of like me, and lots of little details in there. And we'll have you back. But I guess
be sure to join us tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, RazerCon. Again, it's razercon.com razercon. I'll be in there, Twitch chat, and hope to see some of you guys tomorrow.
Of course, this podcast was supported by you guys, the viewers, the listeners. Please consider supporting me in doing this, because this is my full-time thing. Subscribe to the Twitch channel. Head over there. We just started including workouts, so if you want to make a change in your life, I got you, bro. We're calling it No Gains, No Galaxy. So we've got that.
I like that.
I kicked my ass today. It was great. Oh yeah,
good.
Like it was good. And of course, if you want to sponsor a podcast, I'm actually doing that by Patreon. Or if you want to just sponsor one podcast, maybe you've got a unit out there, which by the way, used to have a drinking game anytime someone said unit. You were saying unit like 5 times at the beginning. If you'd like to sponsor a podcast, or maybe you have a unit you'd like to plug on the podcast, just reach out to me on Discord, or of course, head over to my Patreon page. I'll have a link down below. It is the tier 4 patron, and then of course make sure to check out the store and shop at the affiliate link. I'll have all this information down below. We got some new merch as well. Big ass mouse pads. I don't know if you guys have seen those. They're 36 by 18, so it's like
really?
Oh yeah, it's big. So
yeah.
But yeah, anyways, cool. Guys, this has been your local No Guts No Galaxy Mechwarrior podcast, signing off for tonight. This is Phil,
and this is Darren.
Until next time. Oh, it feels so good saying that. Awesome. Thanks, man.
Cheers, dude.